28th, 2023 regular meeting of the Hawthorne City Council is called to order at 6:04 p.m. Is Pastor Greg here today? Hi, Pastor.
He's right there.
If you could lead us in the invocation, and I'll ask Councilwoman Manning to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, nice to see you all. In our heads, Father God, thank you so much for this day. Again, thank you for all the blessings you've given us in life, particularly just life itself. We thank you for ancestors we've never met that have been gone back generation after generation that we've never even known about. And somehow they've all produced us today. Thank you for that. What a neat way to do that. We ask you to bless the time here and the people that are at the dais, Father. And we ask that the good that they do, the good that they try to do and work to do, that it would be so good that people recognize it. And as Jesus said, they would give thanks to you for the good that's done in the city here. So I ask these things, Lord. I ask that our city would be known for the goodness that we have, not just good neighborhoods, but good people and good things happening. And I do ask these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
We all stand, face the flag.
Flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for being here in person, and everybody that's watching us live right now, and the recordings in the near future. Okay, so thank you guys. The roll call. Do you already do it?
Councilmember Manning,
Here.
Councilmember Montero,
Present.
Councilmember Patterson,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Reyes English,
Here.
Mayor Vargas,
Here.
all present.
Thank you, ma'am. So we have two presentations, and the first one is most likely, I think, is going to be dealing with this new thing we have here. So we have item 1, streamlining the city council agenda, technology update, city clerk's office. Ms. City Clerk, can you present?
Hello, everyone. Thank everyone for coming out. Would like to welcome everyone to the new era. We are excited to announce that the City of Hawthorne is working to reduce paper and printing costs as much as possible. Did you know that we prepare 9 binders every other week? The last packet was about 350 sheets for those binders, for each. If that was the average, which we know it could be a little more sometimes, maybe a little less, the paper cost is approximately $11,000 a year, and that is about 240 reams of paper and 1,200 boxes of paper. The printing cost is somewhere around $100,000 a year. Overtime is not really too bad, but last week, Juan spent 2 extra hours here helping to put binders together. I think that it's important for us to recognize, too, when I was at the clerk conference, they asked how many clerks were still using paper. And there was an audible gasp when I raised my hand. There were very few of us who are still using paper. Most people have gone to some sort of a tablet. I think it's efficient, I think it's smart, and I am excited and very proud that we are the group that is making history and changing over from packets or from binders to the tablets. If anyone has any questions, you're welcome to ask them.
I have a question.
Sure.
How do we use this thing?
You use it just like you do your desktop.
But I'm not at, how do we get through?
Do we have a password?
Your password is the same.
Computer.
It's just like, and additionally, you all are taking these home with you,
Actually,
and you're responsible for bringing them back for council meetings. And if that's a problem, I would suggest leaving them in your office, because we will not be printing any more packets.
it's not getting me through, so I need some help.
The mayor will also have, you and I will always have a script, because we have to keep the meetings moving if we need that.
Yeah, I
But
was going to ask you about that.
yes, yes,
Printed one.
yes.
Should it cost like about $30? Maybe I calculated it, 30
Maybe
bucks
the
a
whole year, maybe the
30
whole
bucks the
year,
whole
just for those little, just for
Nah.
those. But if anyone else has any questions, phase 1 of this is that we're just making the introduction. Phase 2 is that each of us will, we will work with George and IT to personalize these tablets, to make them our own and make them very comfortable for you to use. And then phase 3 will be exploring maybe apps that we would be able to write on the documents, directly on the documents, so you don't even have to have a paper pad next to you. And you would then be able to print those things out and keep your notes and your thoughts for later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everyone's so excited.
Well, you know,
Yes.
is everybody logged in,
Yeah, I'm logged in.
Councilwoman?
I'm
No.
All right, this will be, let's take this time just to get started on this stuff and just find out where everything is. Because we're very, very open and cutting edge here in the city of Hawthorne. So,
And also, for the next council meeting, or even before that, if you all want to get with me individually, I don't mind going through and helping you. Mayor, I can come by your office anytime and help you.
okay.
But anybody who needs help, even if George is not around, I can definitely come through and help you understand how to use it and walk you through just about anything.
So the app that we're gonna be using is?
There is no app. You're just going to log into your email,
Go into the
and then
email?
you just, at 5:45 on the dot,
Okay, good.
we sent off the new link, which is basically the entire agenda packet.
So if you guys wanna let's start using this. Let's spend a minute or two, getting everything loaded up here. This is already set. Just so that we can start using this right now.
Because we have the binders for today, but next time we meet, we will not have binders.
Well, see, because of that, I mean, you scared me. I mean, I wanna make sure this works right now. So which one? Which one, this one or this one? Start.
If anybody else has any questions, you guys can catch me after council meeting.
Thank you, Dana.
Oh, right here. All right, that sounds good. Open file, I wanna make, yeah. So the pause right now is just because everybody's setting up theirs. Are you through?
No, I didn't bring my password out here.
Okay.
So
Do
I
we have,
have it written down.
do we have? Okay.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I
this is
used
cool.
my binder
This is fine.
today and
All right. Good. All right, guys, we're good, right?
Set up.
Are you set up? Set up? All right, cool. Thank you.
I'm in, but I don't see no agenda. Oh, well, you want us to go to our email to get?
Yeah, go to your email. It's going to
All
be
right, email.
the most recent email you probably would have gotten. It's going to say agenda packet link.
So if we're looking at, a quick question, Ms. City Clerk, so if we're looking at the items here, and we want to open up the detailed agenda item,
Go to my Outlook.
how do we do that? Well, the what? Yeah, just, I really want, yeah. The agenda bill, because this has all the detailed stuff. Oh, I could use the finger, right? Oh, following, so I could just go, it's all, it's a tag, right? All right, cool. I thought they were being,
Oh, he's touchscreen. Oh, good.
this is it. Yeah, this is it. Okay.
Thank you.
Flipping something on the right now. So I could just go like that. But then if I want to see the agenda, but I just go all the way up to see it? Is that what the deal is? Maybe we could sort that out.
All right.
Usually there's something on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on.
Okay, you have the agenda bill, and then the thing is that the agenda, it's like literally a packet here. The agenda, and then all the detailed action items pop up. How do I get the actual, the information? You know what I'm saying, right?
Have everything.
No, I know.
Because the first time you said it, you have to set up like Adobe as your.
All right,
your
so let's
default.
just, we'll figure it out later. Just come make sure you show me for the next meeting.
Yeah.
All right, let's just get started. All right,
We have to do some default setting up.
all right, cool. All right, thank you. This is great. City of Hawthorne is doing some wonderful things. I was gonna say something smart, Alec, but I mean, some of those cities saying, "Oh, you guys are still using paper." How? Oh my God, they probably got other issues in their cities they're worrying about. So we're not doing bad as a city, but thank you to everybody who put their heads together to put this together for us. Today's the first day. It'll be taking a little bit to ramp up, but this is totally cool. I'm gonna prefer to keep mine here. I don't want to I want to make sure I'm not without an agenda. What about it? We're gonna adjust all that stuff.
Okay, say big.
Mine? But that'll just be an indicator that we're using technology. I'm just kidding. All right, guys.
Turn off your speakers, yeah.
Excellent. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. City Clerk, for presenting that to us. Thank you, Mr. City Manager, and for working with the City Clerk to get this through. Next, we have a proclamation. Councilmember Patterson, please proceed. Proclamation honoring Vietnam veterans. March 30th is California Vietnam Veterans Day. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, exactly. We want to make sure that we acknowledged Vietnam Veterans Day, which is March 30th, and we wanted to do so by presenting a proclamation honoring our Vietnam veterans. And do we have anybody here that can receive the proclamation on behalf of our veterans? Maybe somebody from our Veterans Affairs or somebody that's on a larger Veterans Committee?
Mayor, Councilman Patterson, we have Dennis Wild.
That is wild.
Mr. Wild.
He was from Vietnam War.
And so, actually, I was going to say a few words for you guys came in, but no, come on, here. Come. Well, a couple things that we want to start doing moving forward is recognizing those who have served in our military. Whenever we salute our flags, we're going to try to make an attempt to, ask those who have served to stand, so we recognize them before we say our Pledge of Allegiance moving forward. But we also want to make sure we formally recognize those that served in the Vietnam War and are veterans of that fight, and want to do so with this proclamation. And so I'm not going to read the proclamation in specifics, but I want to hand it off to one of the representatives, and hope we can take some pictures celebrating you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you for the sunrise.
Right there, right there.
I would like to remind everyone that tomorrow marks the 50th anniversary of our last book on Vietnam. Thank you.
So I do understand, was it less than 1% of the United States population serves in the military? And so, definitely want to always honor our military.
Well, I wasn't prepared to say anything. Thank you for the city of Hawthorne. you've always supported the military and veterans. We appreciate that. Again, tomorrow is the 50th anniversary of the United States leaving Vietnam. I worked the wall. It's called the Wall That Heals. There's a couple of walls out. There's one called the Traveling Wall. And the other one is the Wall That Heals. And it's a replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. Helped disassemble it on Sunday, and they had a really moving service there. What was interesting was a couple of the council members were Vietnamese, and they had a lot to be thankful for. They were grateful that we were there. A lot of people thinks that that was a war that we shouldn't have been in. I think the idea was good, but how it was handled wasn't all that good. So anyways, Councilman Patterson mentioned veterans, and it's called SAFE, and that actually came from, I'm president of the Vietnam Veterans of America South Bay Chapter 53. And one of our members in particular put this together, and it's called SAFE, Salute Armed Forces Every Day. And it's designed for at any public events that you honor veterans. I hope it goes one step further when this, I'm sorry, so it went to national, and national approved it, and so I don't, what is that called? It's a resolution that was approved. I hope it goes one step further. I would hope that if this escalates, keeps going, that not only veterans, but current military and first responders, every event should be standing so that they could be recognized. So I hope as this program gets better and better and more popular, that's what's going to be. So anyways.
Can we have, all that have served to ask everybody to stand up so we can be recognized?
And first responders.
And first responders. Thank you so much for your service.
Oh, thank you. And thank you.
I would just like to add, I'm a proud member of Chapter 53. Dennis is the president of that. I'm here tonight to represent the state of California as a vice president of the California State Council of VVA. And one of the things that I would like to personally thank this city for and the city council is the support that veterans have gotten. This is one of the few cities that has taken the time to pass resolutions in support of veterans' activities and legislation that pertains to veterans and helping them. And at state and as well at national, Hawthorne is noted because of those actions. It's recognized, noted, and we all think a lot of you guys too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This is a great idea. Honoring the veterans. My dad was drafted when he, during '67, during the heaviness of all that stuff. So honor my dad as well. So, everybody else that I know and friends and everybody that we don't know. Answering the call of duty, even if you don't fully agree with the thought behind it, right? Madam Clerk, the guidelines for oral communications, please.
Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.3, all remarks should be addressed to the City Council as a body and not to any individual council members. During oral communication, speakers shall have 3 minutes to state their business. The Brown Act prohibits the City Council from providing a detailed response or acting upon any items not contained on the agenda. The governing bodies, as a body, shall have the discretion at the close of oral communications to refer any remarks to the city manager for study, investigation, report, and/or recommendation.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Gemlick?
Hello, my name is Joseph Gumlick, and I'm here to address agenda item, I think it's 13, the general plan progress update. in the update, I see that there is a small section on the circulation element, but I was wondering if the city can provide any details on progress of the Crenshaw Active Transportation Plan, which is section 5 of the city's circulation element. This is a, pretty lengthy part of the circulation element that discusses like improvements in the entire 3-mile radius region around the Crenshaw station, the entire like Crenshaw Street area of Hawthorne. It appears these plans were made in 2015, which is about 8 years ago, and if you permit me to round up a little, we're talking just about a decade now. We're approaching a decade. And so I was wondering if there has been any progress on these plans. Is the city still intending to follow through on this and include it in its circulation element? And I will end by just asking about the expected number of travelers that will be coming through Hawthorne to attend events in the South Bay region, and particularly Inglewood, if the city is currently content with the first impression these travelers will get of Hawthorne when they leave either the Crenshaw station or the Hawthorne Lennox station. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Susan Castro Valenzuela, LA County Department of Parks and Rec, talking about LA County's parks.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and honorable city council members. My name is Susan Castro Valenzuela, and I represent the LA County Regional Park and Open Space District, also known as RPOSD. We are responsible for administering Measure A, which was approved by 75% of LA County voters in November 2016. It generates approximately $109 million per year through an annual parcel tax of 1.7 cents per square foot of improved property for the acquisition and improvement of parks. I'm here this evening to introduce you to our Technical Assistance Program, also known as TAP. TAP provides technical assistance primarily through grant funding to cities within LA County that have been identified as high need or very high need in regards to parkland. The determination as to the level of park need is based on the findings of the Park Needs Assessment of 2016. In July 2022, based on your city's status as high need, we allocated the city of Hawthorne $185,000 in TAP funding to be used for technical assistance services. This TAP funding can be used in a variety of ways, all aimed at increasing your city's overall park acreage. TAP pays for professional services such as conducting a land inventory, community outreach, environmental tests or surveys, real estate negotiations, and planning and design. In meetings with other TAP-eligible cities, there has been a wide range of project ideas discussed for new parkland. For acquisition park projects, ideas included pocket parks, linear parks, and passive parks. For other types of open space uses, ideas included dog and skate parks, botanical gardens, and community gardens, and green alleys. Keep in mind, projects are not limited to acquisition. Cities can also enter into long-term lease agreements with utility companies, railroads, or Caltrans to develop their unused land into parkland and open spaces. Your city has already executed a master agreement between the City of Hawthorne and RPOSD. I would like to ask you to have the appropriate city staff members who work on park matters to contact me to discuss the TAP program. I should note there is a deadline of December 31st, 2024 to encumber your TAP funds. If you, as a representative of the City of Hawthorne, want to create areas for children to play and families to gather, let our TAP staff assist you in getting your park project started. If you have any questions, I left my contact information with your city clerk that I think they distributed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Abdullah Ali, Islamic Center, Hawthorne, Ramadan Interfaith Community Dinner. How's it going, my friend?
Greetings of peace to everybody. Good to see you again. I'm just here to welcome everybody, invite everybody, as usual, to our annual Ramadan Interfaith Community Dinner. Many of you have supported and been there before, but I always like to come and do a in-person invitation. And always thank you guys, the City of Hawthorne, for your support. Am I done?
You're good.
For your support throughout the time I've been here. So as good neighbors in the city of good neighbors, we like to invite the City of Hawthorne. Everybody's invited to this community interfaith dinner. Also, I'd just like to read one thing from the Quran. as an advice, as a guideline for you guys and our men in blue. Thanks again for all the service that you guys do to make the city safe. Thank you very much. It says, "O you who believe, uphold justice and bear witness to God, even if it is against your own selves, even your parents or your close relatives. Whether the person is rich or poor, God can be best to take care of both. Refrain from following your own desire so that you can act justly. If you distort or neglect justice, God is fully aware of what you do. So as you guys have the city in your hands, basically, just keep that in mind. You make good decisions. Thank you. God bless.
Mr. Abdullah, can you repeat the date and when? Because you didn't say so
Oh,
for
yeah.
the public, because we
Oh,
have
yeah.
the card, but just
Thank
repeat
you.
the day and time, please.
Thank you. Saturday, April 1st, 6:30 at the Islamic Center, Hawthorne, 12209 Hawthorne Way, down the block. Thank you very much for that reminder.
Thank you.
Thank you. I already gave you the cards, right? I gave them to you, right? Right. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak and address the council? Form a line, please. Now's the time and place. We only have one person? Okay, yeah. Line up, sir. Okay, we have two people. Go ahead, sir.
My name is James Raddick. I live at 3822 West 144th Street in Hawthorne. I'll start out by saying, on my way down, I noticed somebody started cleaning up Rosecrans from east of Prairie, heading east. I hope they pull out the dead trees and trim the trees and plant some new ones, because we're, looking kind of bad. It didn't happen prior to election like a lot of times it does when that big cleanups come. But anyway, it looks good. Been walking to Jim Thorpe Park, playing in the new park on the exercise machines. Good. And now I've seen that you're going to have a discussion about Senate Bill 423 later. That's the one from the guy up north, that Wiener guy. That's his name. I'm not calling him. Anyway, he's the guy that pushes all these, like SB 10 and 9, and let's build houses. Let's keep doing this. I hope you guys will stand up and fight against it this time. We had a chance to do it by changing our charter thing, but it didn't pass. So let's try something again and join the fight to keep this stuff from happening, because if it does, we won't need a planning department or building or planning council committees, because they're going to be useless. Anyway, thank you. Keep up the work on the parks. I'll be using them.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Lucas. I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan, originally from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm out here on a vacation for 10 days to visit my friend Rob Williams, community member here. One of us picked up the other one in Nashville 20 years ago as co-workers and have maintained a friendship ever since. And he's returned here, and it was a great excuse to visit this beautiful urban district. I'm staying in Long Beach. My list of tourism items included to attend the city meeting with my friend Rob, along with try all your craft beer and see all the sights I can see. So I just wanted to bring a little insight of what those of us in the Midwest and Southern imports to the Midwest like myself trade notes with citizens like Rob. He and I send videos back and forth. He has sent me some really wonderful clips from some of the things that you all have had to say as leaders, and from some great speeches by the outgoing and incoming police chiefs. I've forwarded those to our chief, because we have a brand new chief in Grand Rapids that has a huge, huge job of fixing some problems and some reputation issues with a police force that has not always been what it should be. Your men have been an example for that, so I think it's great. But I want to highlight here at the end, you adopted new technology. I didn't know this was part of the deal, but I'm good at ad lib in all of my civic engagement. I think the fact that I'm here to talk about it and the fact that you got the technology is a great example of how much you reach the whole world. Even in small roles in small cities, you're visible to the whole world as an example at any given time, and I encourage you to keep doing that.
Sorry, sir, your time is up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And if the chief over there needs to talk to our chief, we could put you in contact with them. Our city manager, well, actually, the chief is, our chief is here, right there. Can you raise your hand, chief? All right, so at some point during the meeting or after, you could talk to him, or maybe when we go into closed session. Thank you for your feedback, sir. Welcome to Hawthorne. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. It's glad to be back. I've been laid up for a couple of months. I've just finished doing surgery last month. As you can see, I'm still recovering. I've been a while since I've been back to the City Council. Congratulations, Katrina, and the other three ladies, and Angie. And sorry to see Olivia leave in retirement. Hopefully she enjoys her retirement. But yeah, I'm recovering slowly but surely, but it's still slow progress. Glad to be back at the council meetings again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and I hope you feel better. Anybody else? If not, I'll declare oral communications closed. So ordered. Madam Clerk, can we have your consent calendar, please, ma'am?
Mr. Mayor, I have 3 items on the consent calendar. They are items 3 through 5 for your consideration and approval. Approval of waiver of full readings of resolutions and/or ordinances on tonight's agenda. Item 4, approval of the City Council minutes for the regular meeting of February 28, 2023. Item 5, City Treasurer requests approval of the warrants for March 28, 2023 for adoption.
Motion,
Second.
please vote.
The voting reflects mayor and council voting yes.
Let's see, we have a bid opening. Can you tell us about that?
Item 6, now is the time and place to declare publicly received sealed bids for Sewer Pipe Rehabilitation Project 2023, project number 23-02. Public Works Department declaration of publication filed. These were X bids received. All were accompanied by bidders' bonds. The prices are as follows. Sandcon Technologies, and all of this is redacted, so I'm not able to read it. Okay, got it here. Sandcon Technologies, $896,147.50. Insit Uform Technologies LLC, $589,750. Southwest Pipeline and Trenchless Corp, $619,200. I'm sorry.
I make a motion to refer to staff for study and recommendation.
Second.
Please vote.
The voting reflects mayor and city council voting yes.
Next, we have an ordinance. Madam Clerk?
Ordinance 2238, the second reading, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, repealing Chapter 2.14 Beautification Commission, amending Sections 2.07.040 Terms of Office and 2.17.050 Organization of Chapter 2.17 Youth Commission, adding Section 2.18.040 Terms of Office and amending Section 2.18.070 Chairperson of Chapter 2.18 Civil Service Commission, amending Sections 2.19.020 Members and 2.19.030 Organization of Chapter 2.19 Veterans Affairs Commission, amending Section 2.20040 Terms of Office and 2.20050 Organization of Chapter 2.20 Senior Citizens Commission, amending Sections 2.22.040 Terms of Office and 2.22.050 Organization of Chapter 2.22 Parks, Recs, and Fine Arts Commission, amending Section 2.28.050 chairperson and adding section 2.28.090 terms of office to chapter 2.28 Planning Commission of the Hawthorne Municipal Code and making a finding of exemption in compliance with CEQA in connection therewith for adoption.
I make a motion.
Second.
Please vote. And yours?
The voting reflects mayor and council voting yes, with Alex Montero voting no.
Wrong Alex.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here.
Alex Vargas voting no.
Yeah, Mayor.
Need my glasses.
Next, we have a general matters. Madam Clerk, item 8, please.
Item 8, Housing Successor Agency Reports for Fiscal Year ending 2021-2022. The recommended motion, staff recommends that City Council receive and file the City of Hawthorne Housing Successor Agency Annual Report for fiscal year 2021-2022.
I move.
Second.
Please vote.
The vote reflects mayor and council members voting yes.
Okay. Just a moment, please. Next, we have the city manager's consent calendar. Madam Clerk, the agenda reflects that you have items 9 through 18 on the city manager's consent calendar. Please, but I'm going to ask you to pull 16 though, so if you can read all items except 16, because we have somebody that will be answering questions on that.
Very good.
Please proceed by introducing each item into the record except
Item 16.
except item 10 and 16.
Okay.
Item 10 and 16, ma'am, please. Thank you.
To the chair.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm going to go ahead and pull item 17 for discussion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, actually, did I say item 17 was the one I wanted to pull, not 16? Did I say 16 by
We'll pull
accident?
16.
item
Let's-
10?
Let's do that individually.
Item 10, item 17,
Okay, is that,
That's
those
fine.
only two?
okay, yeah.
Through the chair, would
Go
you
ahead,
like
sir.
to pull item 16?
I wasn't asking to pull item 16. It was item 17 that I wanted. So 10 and 17, please?
Maybe
Very
we can
good.
do that independently.
Well
I
said.
make a motion?
Does she need to read them?
Do I need to read them?
Yeah, oh, I am so sorry. Go ahead.
That's
I'm
all
sorry.
right.
Sorry,
That's
sorry.
okay.
Yeah, we were trying to be efficient, technology, efficiency,
Yeah, we got
so
a lot
I'm
of
like in
stuff
that
going on
spirit
today. All
right here.
good.
Thank you.
Item 9, award of contract for Hawthorne Boulevard Mobility Improvement Project, Phase 2, project number 23-01. Item 11, Bridge of Hope Community Housing, BHCH, Site Security Professional Services Agreement with City Guard. Item 12, Bridge of Hope Community Housing, BHCH, Site Operator Professional Services Agreement with the Los Angeles Centers for Drug and Alcohol Abuse. Item 13, receive and file the annual general plan progress report and annual housing element progress report for the calendar year 2022. Item 14, adding Mother's Day event, Women's History Month, and Women's Health Resources Fair to the list of city-sponsored events. Item 15, City of Hawthorne's investment report for the quarter ended December 31st, 2022. Item 16, employment agreement between Chief Gary Tomatani and City of Hawthorne. Item 18, appropriation of $76,192.50 from the Police Department budget, 100-2102-205-0-0-45154 for the purchase of 2 Vigilant Solution trailer chassis and approval of a purchase order in the not-to-exceed amount of $76,192.50 to Vigilant Solutions LLC for the purchase of Vigilant Solutions trailer chassis. Mr. Mayor, that concludes the city manager's consent calendar. May I have a motion to approve items 9 through 8 minus 17 and 10?
I move. Motion and second. Okay, please vote.
The voting reflects mayor and council members voting yes.
Let's give our new chief a big round of applause. Stand up. There was no question. We didn't need to talk about it. We knew you're the guy for the job, okay?
I just wanted to boast about you. That's about my.
You can do it right now?
I wanted to pull the item so we could just talk exclusive on you. But I brought your police cars right here, up front.
Congratulations, chief.
All right.
And you have a great team that's working with you. supporting you in this endeavor, you supporting them. So that's the way you're keeping our city safe. So keep doing that. Okay, so let's see. Item number 10. Can you read that into the record, ma'am?
Since we pulled item 17, did we discuss item 17?
No, item 10. Item 10,
Oh,
she's gonna, but
okay.
she needs to read it first and then the discussion.
Okay.
Item 10, review of the mid-year financial report for fiscal year 2022-2023.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Council. Felice Lopez, Finance Director, and I'm here to provide you the mid-year financial review. All right, so we'll begin with the cash balance history. And this is a history from December of 2018 through December of 2022. And as you can see, there's been an increase from 2018 of 14 million to 2022 of 61.9 million cash balance for the city of Hawthorne. For the fiscal year 2022, the budget was approved in June of 2022. The expenditures were approved at $88,500,000, and revenues were at $88,000,000, almost $800,000. For the mid-year amendment appropriations, with your approval of these amendments, those expenditures will increase to $90.4 million, and revenues will increase to $93.2 million. At quarter ended December 31st, 2022, the revenues increased by 18.2% when you compare to the previous year, and that was 27.9 million in last fiscal year to 33 million for this fiscal year. The most significant increases and decreases in revenue are business license tax of 41% decrease. And so the business license tax collected during the first half of the fiscal year is usually for delinquent payments. So that is lower than we've had in previous years. Hotel TOT is 56% increase, and that's for transient occupancy tax. And that's dependent on the visitors to the city. And and we saw increases in tourists and business travel. Yes.
I mean, I see the percentages, but where's the dollar amounts for that? Just so we can see what the scope of, what the magnitude of the losses?
That's in your agenda item, so it shows, if you would pull your agenda item.
You told me what page. It would have been nice to have it on that page, though, but go ahead. Tell me where's that?
Let's see.
That'd be 2 of 6.
So TOT went from 1.9 million to 3,075,000. And business license tax went from 984,000 last year to 580,000 this fiscal year.
And what about the
sales tax? We have the Bradley Burns, which is at 7.1 million last year, increased to 8.6 million this year. And the sales tax for the Measure HH was at 4.8 million, and it increased to 5.1 million in this fiscal year.
It kind of looks good, but, and so even though there seems to be a nasty looking 41% drop, the increase in the hotel TOT seems to make up for it, but we don't want to keep that going, right? We want to increase our business license tax.
Well, and so the reason for the decrease on the business license tax is we did have a consultant who did collections on business license tax, and we no longer have that consultant. So we would have to see about either bringing in a new consultant or having additional staff to make those collections possible.
I don't know if you remember the consultant that we got a lot of complaints about.
MS?
Yep.
MAS, that they were effective at bringing in money, but I don't think we enjoyed the relationship that they created between us and the business community. So we
Correct.
Well, there's people out there that are not paying their business license tax, so maybe if we could look at an alternative company, or just have.
Or
us
doing it in-house.
Doing it, yeah, have an in-house team, because, you know, that's money that the cities, the residents of Hawthorne are owed, not us, the residents of Hawthorne. Okay. Mr. City Manager, just a little note. If that's a directive, I guess that's one of mine.
You will concur.
I'll concur too, city manager.
Okay, awesome. So that's one of your directives too. No, I'm just kidding, just one of them. Go ahead, Felice, please.
Okay, so this page will show you tax revenues that are over 1 million at mid-year. We've got the refuse franchises that went from 1.4 million in 2021 to 2.1 million in 22-23. We have utility users tax, which went from 2.8 million in 2021 to 3.6 million in 22-23. Sales tax, the Bradley Burns went from 6.2 million in 2021, and we're at 8.6 in 22-23. And sales tax for the Measure HH went from 4.2 million to almost 5.2 million in 22-23. Property tax is increasing steadily from 2.8 million in 2021 to almost 3.1 million in 22-23. For non-tax revenues at mid-year, we have program contributions. It's at 600,000 in 2021, 650,000 in 22-23. Other revenue is at 1 million in 2021 and increased to 1.8 million in 22-23. This increase included a bond refund of about 700,000, so that's what you see there. Current service charges went from 874,000 in 2021 to 1.3 million in 22-23. Revenue from use of money, which is interest, would be from 92,000 to 359,000 in 22-23. Fines and forfeitures are a little bit lower this year because there was a payment that was received late, but it was at 1 million in 2021, slightly over a million in 21-22, and at December 31st, it was at 850,000. Licenses and permits were at 797,000 in 2021, and we have them at 817,000 in 22-23, and this is again at mid-year.
To the chair, real quick before you move on, what's a bond refund?
A bond refund, it's when we refund the bond to lower the interest rate, which is what we've done with a couple of our bonds that were at higher rates early in 2005 or 2008, and in 2015, 2016, 2017, several bonds were issued at lower rates.
And that's obviously a good thing.
I'm sorry?
That's obviously a good thing.
Yes, yes.
Felice, in looking at the tax revenues, the previous page and this page, the previous page, tax revenues.
Uh-huh.
How many of those can you characterize as a sharper increase than in previous years? Let's say a better than normal increase in the tax revenues, or can you categorize those mostly as in line with the growth of the city?
Well, obviously, we've got the transient occupancy tax because of COVID had drastically dropped. They were at 1.2 million in 2021 and have increased to 3 million, almost 3.1 million this year. So we're moving back into the normal range where they should have been. Another one that has increased quite a bit is refuse fees. Refuse franchises were at 1.4 million in 2021 and are now at almost 2.2 million in this fiscal year. But they're moving back in line to where they were prior to COVID.
Okay, thank you.
So we've got, so this is just a slide showing the tax revenues. And again, the Bradley Burns increased by 20%, Measure HH, which is the add-on, increased by 8%. And as we've said in prior years, the city has a stable and diverse economic base, so we've been able to increase sales tax revenues because of that. And as you'll see in the distribution of major industry groups in the graph, the general consumer goods and autos and transportation are pretty equal at 22 and 21%. Where we show that we could bring in new business to diversify just a little bit more would be in the building supplies and in restaurants, which are at 10% and 13%. For fiscal year, sorry, there's a typo, fiscal year 22-23, the budget expenditures are at 5.83 increase compared to the previous year. That's expected because due to COVID, most of those expenditures were reduced. If we include the land purchase and the PARS trust transfer, though that increase was 41.43%. And the budget that's been expended so far at mid-year was at 48%. The general fund required cash balance for this fiscal year is an average of 3 months in operating expenditures, and that's at $22.1 million. And as you saw in the first slide, our cash balance in December of 2022 was at $61.9 million, so much higher than where we were required to be. And that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions.
Any questions?
To the chair. Thank you, Felice. A couple of questions. And I was trying to follow along, trust me. What contributed to the 14 million increase that we saw?
In the revenues?
Yeah, as you began your presentation, you mentioned that there was a $14 million increase. I was just curious where that 14 million came from, if it was a little bit from everywhere as far as our accounts go, or one particular line item. If you can't find it, that's fine. I was just curious.
You mean in the cash balance or in
Yes.
the?
Yeah, because you mentioned there was a $14 million increase to our cash balance.
Oh, well, it went from 14 million to 61.9 million.
Okay.
And that's basically due to, again, our revenues have been quite stable, and the diversification in the sales tax has allowed the sales tax to increase quite a bit every fiscal year. Okay. Measure HH has contributed to those increases because without Measure HH, we would have probably continued to be at a deficit where the city was, back in 2014, 2013. But that is the major increase in those revenues. And of course, the department heads who have continued to make sure that expenditures are maintained at levels that are, required and not overspend on things that aren't necessary.
So this other question I have might be a city manager and yourself question. I don't know if we've gone this far yet. Since we're establishing ourselves with regards to portfolio, real property, and looking a little bit more, I want to say savvy when it comes to just investments in general. Have we started looking at what we're looking at with regards to property that we've acquired, real property, and then what those costs are per monthly, for instance, on rental or, those types of costs? If we haven't, that's fine. I'm just suggesting that maybe we have a line item for portfolio, real property, things that we're investing in or purchasing, things like this, that we could have.
In the new budget?
Yes, that we could have a projection.
We can
And-
definitely
and
include a line
maybe-
item.
Yeah. I think that would be beneficial because all of that is separate income, which is important. And then I also want to ask Vaughn if we could bring back the airport for a presentation, because I want to see what fees we've looked at to increase at the airport.
Noted.
Thank you. That should do it.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Felice, for the presentation. Forecast until December 31st, 2022, right? So that's
Yes.
so now we almost the end of March, right? Have you guys seen any trend in the slowdown on, say, for example, sales tax? Because
No,
a
we
lot of people are
continue to
not
show- we
buying
continue to
too
show
much, continue to show improve. Well, that's good. So even the TOT continue to.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yes.
So at the end of fiscal year, we're going to be in a good standing.
We will, yes.
All right. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I just want to also add, since our city clerk is saving us some money, some $10,000 a year in paper cost, I'd like a projection to also be included in that with regards to savings and what that, how that money is being put back. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, Felice. Let's
Thank
give her a
you.
round of applause for this awesome report.
Thank you.
Sounds great. All right, thank you for that, your time in putting that together. So I make a motion to accept item 10, the mid-year financial report.
Second.
Please vote.
The voting reflects mayor and council members voting yes.
Okay. I pulled item 17 for discussion, and we have a representative from the South Bay.
You want to read it first? Want me to read it?
Yeah, but I'm going to lead up, but if he can just come up so he could just be ready. Mr. Chavez, you're here representing South Bay Web. So please, yes, please read it.
Contract with the South Bay Workforce and Investment Board for the city's unhoused employment program.
Oh. I thought it was going to be deeper than that.
That was item 17.
Okay, no, you're right. Look, guys, about a month and a half ago, we started hearing a lot of complaints and concerns about the unhoused, the homeless population here in the city of Hawthorne, and a lot of discussion has gone around the whole nation, and in California in particular. For whatever reasons, we seem to be getting a brunt of the situation. Whatever that is, that's we could debate that ad nauseum. But one of the important things is that the city of Hawthorne has taken the initiative to be able to offer services for the homeless and the unhoused. For example, we have the pallet shelters, the shelter system that we have over there in Monita Gardens. We have the homeless task force that we have with elements of our code enforcement, police, but most importantly, we have the big mental health component of that, okay? Because as we know, a lot of people are afflicted by mental health illness. But then something else that came up in my head was I had seen this in the previous years in other cities, and hey, maybe the reason people are out there is because, the economic situation has put them into a situation where they can't get out of it. Then they're out on the streets, and inevitably, since they're around people who are doing maybe drugs or anything, sometimes they get caught up with that too. So, a lot of these things are contagious. But the thing is, trying to get to the root cause of this mental health situation is one thing, but loss of work, loss of employment is another one, which is why I brought it up with the council, and my council colleagues saw the importance of being able to offer our part in getting people back to work and targeting the unhoused, the homeless population within the city of Hawthorne to be able to get them back to work. Just give them a chance, give them a fighting chance. Robert, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you. Good evening.
Can you give us your perspective on your side and why you thought this was a good idea to work on?
Definitely, thank you. So good evening, Mayor Vargas, council members, and city staff. You hit it on the head. Also, up until recently, the weather.
Yeah.
Weather was South Bay Workforce Investment Board, again, Robert Chavez, I'm the operations manager for the group, so I see firsthand individuals who've been laid off through the pandemic, even before the pandemic, as the housing crunch, a lot of different dynamics, people living paycheck to paycheck, a lot of layoffs during COVID. It just exploded. So we are working very closely with the unhoused populations throughout not only the South Bay WIB area, which is the South Bay area in total, but also through LA County. So working with the different cities, we've seen best practices. And the best practices that the city manager had mentioned specifically is addressing those barriers that you mentioned beforehand. It could be something as simple as getting individuals used to working again, used to going to training, addressing the barriers, the multiple barriers that they're going through with relations to, drug histories, domestic violence. Sometimes they have issues with the law, and these individuals, what they need is an opportunity. So, by addressing those with the community-based organizations that you guys have, we're looking at those that are ready for placement, those ready to work. So it goes hand in hand. If it was just based on us trying to get them an individual job, it'd be rather difficult for us to be able to perform all those services at our site. We're there when we're ready for them to work. And what came out of this discussion, robust discussion, was an opportunity for 10 individuals to go through a paid work experience assignment so that they could get ready for work. Because we know that sometimes individuals that are chronically homeless, long-term, unhoused, tend to recidivate after getting their first check. So again, we wanted to look at this as an opportunity of a paid work experience model so we could address some of those barriers, work hand in hand with the team that the city has with regards to doing the barrier mitigation. So when they come to us, we could assist them in getting into the paid work experience portion of it. We're looking at 10 individuals, 10 weeks. They'll be earning a wage through a paid work experience model. And then we have another 5 individuals that will be going through short-term vocational training. We have a lot of experience working with the reentry population, with the unhoused population, with individuals with disabilities, and we know that classroom training plus paid work experience models does allow for better outcomes and long-term employment opportunities. Because we could actually start mitigating some of those barriers as they're working and going through training. Now, the other thing that wasn't mentioned here, but that the South Bay WIB will be doing is we'll be matching the funds that will be provided with our own funds. So instead of that person working for 10 weeks, they'll be actually working 20 weeks. So we are matching that funds.
This is
those
new,
funds.
this is new, right?
And then the 5 individuals that we do for training, we will be matching 5 additional slots for training. And short-term
That's
vocational
awesome.
training could be truck driving, could be phlebotomy, could be community health care work. We're gonna be looking at no-cost peer counseling services because what we wanna do is create champions because again, lived experience is very valuable with this population, so we want those individuals to be trained so that they can help other individuals. So we do have a lot of opportunity for training. Some will be listed on here, some we know that we're not gonna fix the issue with just putting them through one training. It may be a career pathway model, so we will be looking at how we could leverage more resources, and that's why I was happy to announce that we are matching the training cost of this, this funding, pretty much dollar for dollar for training cost.
Mr. Chavez, so I just wanted to highlight, you mentioned that you're going to be using our existing groups that we have that are dealing with or addressing this issue. One of them is the homeless task force, the unhoused homeless task force. The other one is the telehealth van, so they should have this resource ready to offer it. So I mean, we need to make sure that they know about this. And our community services department and the police department that comes into contact with individuals that are out there. And any other nonprofit that we have here in the city that is poised to be able to assist bringing them to you. So I think this is good, and thank you so much. This is new, that's why it wasn't included, so thank you for increasing the slots to 5 and doubling the amount of work experience. Not even experiences, like, life-saving, money-making experience to be able to just get that second chance.
To the chair?
Yes.
I have a few questions. So I wanted to find out what is the wage that they're going to receive. Wanted to find out what target group are you going to target. If you're going to target moms, and if the moms have kids, do you provide any assistance for daycare for the moms to be able to go to work?
So the first one is, it's $16.04 an hour, which is a county minimum wage. It will go up in July to $16.90. So we did put that as part of the budget change. And if you notice for the fiscal folks here, 61% of the funding will go right back into basically the training or into their pocket for paid work experience. It's real important. Most grants, usually 30 to 35%, where this is an investment that we feel we need to make, not just for the city of Hawthorne, but it does, unhoused individual, they walk over city lines very quickly. So we definitely are, this is a community investment for South Bay Workforce Investment Board, and we appreciate any funding consideration. And now with moms and their children, if they have children within our ages of 14 through 24 years of age, just putting that out there, we could obviously enroll them into our youth programs. So we have services through our teen centers. We have services through our one-stop system to assist those individuals with employment for their young people if they qualify, and they should qualify. Probably 99.9% will qualify under that program.
So what about if they have younger kids, less
Child
than
care?
14? Child care, because I know that child care is a big issue for moms, and I also wanted to know where are you getting these people from?
So childcare, and then I'll handle where we're getting the majority of the referrals are from the collaborative, and they will make the determination when they're ready for employment opportunities. But know that this is just for these individuals from this program. We will get some marketing out for the police department and your community-based organizations to refer them, and we'll do our part with funding we already have. Now, the childcare issue is a tough one. It's been a tough one throughout the pandemic and continues to be so. But if you guys you probably do know that we also run the Transitional Subsidized Employment Program, which is a county-wide huge program to break the cycle of government county assistance. Part of that is, as those individuals come through, we will see if they're qualified for those programs. If they are, it also comes with childcare through usually Crystal Stairs, and that's part of that process. Now, if they don't qualify for that program, our case managers are very versed in assisting people with finding low cost or sometimes no cost, depending on their situation with health, with not only childcare, but also healthcare services and other programs. So we will look at them and try to mitigate those barriers also. And then, of course, with the collaborative, we're hoping to have kind of case studies and case meetings, regular case meetings, so that we could mitigate a lot of those barriers before they get to our program if we could.
So I think you mentioned it earlier, but I just wanted to follow back. People that have substance abuse or mental health issues, you guys are going to be collaborating with local community-based organizations to provide those services to them as well?
We will. We'll be, again, looking at that collaborative. Again, we can't solve all those issues, but together we can.
Of course.
And then, of course, we have our mandated partners like Department of Rehabilitation that we might be able to look at referring them there to also get more services. They have funding opportunities. So this will be a highly leveraged opportunity. If we could even get more hours, we will.
Okay,
So,
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And if you don't mind, add Richtown Family Center
Oh, yeah, that's right.
to your
Work with
your
them.
list.
That's right, that's right.
To the chair.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because also we have Lacada, right? That is a
Yeah.
contract with us, so they're going to be working together with Robert and South Bay Web, and I have to say, Robert, thank you very much for showing up. But you guys have the experience; you have done this before, right? Because I've been part of the South Bay COG, Homeless Task Force. I know you've been there, for at least now 5 years. So we have a lot of service that you guys can tap in to bring all the providers to help the people actually get ready to be trained to go back to work, right? From mental health to health, to have a place to stay per se, tiny homes or shelter or permanent housing. So all of that have to come to play before somebody can say, I'm ready to go learn a trade. Because an example like last October, right? One of the guys that you guys highlight on that annual award was one of the homeless person that he went to train to your program, and then he was making $30 an hour, right? So those are the kinds of beautiful things that South Bay Whip and One Stop has been doing. So that is where, it's no-brainer that you guys are going to match and increase the program. So I want to thank you, thanks Jen Vogel and the South Bay Workforce Board, and my deepest sympathy for the past of Wayne Spencer, that used to be the chairman of the board
yes.
for
What
many
the
years,
Oh
who passed away 2 weeks
God.
ago. So my condolences to the board and to the Jan, because I know they were very tight. So
I appreciate that.
yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. I've been working with the South Bay WIB now for 24 years, and Wayne Spencer has been an integral part. Not, not all board chairs are as involved, and it was devastating news.
Yes.
That he just recently passed, and it's going to be difficult to fill those shoes.
Yeah.
So thank you for your sentiment. Thank you for that.
To the chair.
Oh, that's crazy, man. Go ahead.
Thank you. Also, my condolences to the Spencer family and to the Workforce Development Board and all of its operations.
Thank you.
I like the fact that there's matching funds, or I shouldn't say matching funds, but matching with regards to all the description of the other things that you're going to do. I would love to see a matching wage. That would be great. You can't, I
Oh,
mean,
that would be
we're in
nice.
California, right? We can't afford $16 an hour, but you know how that goes. It's my hope that those that are unhoused find their way to your classrooms, but more importantly, you offer apprentice programs and services and things like this, hands-on type training. I was curious to know how we're going to locate our possible unhoused individuals. I know that there's some that seek help and come to already existing locations that we set up here in Hawthorne, but I know that we have a long ways to go. There's also the fact that there's some that are mentally health challenged that require other types of services. So that was, in a nutshell, if there's going to be a part in the workforce development to seek some out at the same time, I wanted to hear that from you. And then the second part of that is the scope of work, not just the in-classroom training, but the scope of work that would provide a sense of guidance as to what's first and how to keep them in classroom, but more importantly, the mentorship program, but more importantly, like you said, they look forward to that first paycheck and then you can't find them, right? So those types of things that I know are going to be challenging to you, but at the same time, something that should be a projection, that there should be a sense of coordination and efforts in how to help in those types of things that I described. So those are just some of my concerns as I was listening. And I have to commend the mayor, because it was his idea with regards to not just take the fact that we have homeless individuals on the streets, but how can we get them to be productive citizens again in society, which we're all for that, and anything that we could do, and it looks like we've done that with regards to the Rescue Plan Act that we provided in funding. So if we could just talk a little about those two items, the plan of action in seeking out our homeless individuals, and two, the scope of work.
Yes, definitely. Now, the plan of action, like Council Member Montero mentioned, we're involved in Measure H kind of programming throughout the county. We get funding specifically for that. So we have been marketing this program for a long time. So we get individuals coming to our center. We get individuals that are accessing virtual services through the pandemic. We stood open throughout the pandemic because we knew how important it was for the most in need during the pandemic to see a friendly face. Despite closures from other state agencies and other, the one-stop system in the South Bay stood open. We thought it was important to do so, especially for the most vulnerable. So if we start marketing this program, we will have probably quadruple the amount of people for it. But that's not what we want to do. We want to work with the City of Hawthorne with that collaboration and look at those individuals that are within those programs that have hit somewhat of a benchmark and went through intensive case management. I'll be the first to say my team is not suited to do the intensive case management specifically for individuals through the housing project. To get them from, coming in intake, ready for work. That's what the collaboration will do, and we will kind of lean on them for their expertise. Not saying my people don't have some of those skills and transitionary services, but we're more experts in getting people that are near job ready and getting them processed. So we'll lean heavily on the collaboration, and we want those individuals specifically coming from your collaboration. And a long time ago, before I started working here, I actually used to work at Ali Center for Alcohol and Drug Abuse, La Cada. I was an intake counselor while I was in college. So I know they do excellent work in preparing individuals to go through the barrier mitigation process. Now, the other part, the scope of work, when they come to us, we do a co-case management system. Or if it's 10 agencies, 10 co's. So it's co-case management, and what we do is we work with those partners, not in a handoff type situation, more of a, we continue to hold their hand throughout that process, because we know, and I could give you a lot of, for every success story we've had for individuals making 30, 40, 50, however it is, we've had the individuals that we needed to give more services for. And we know that not everyone's ready for that type of job, and it's a career pathway. So that's why we know we're gonna not only, and the apprentice program may be part of that process to get people ready, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to get people from long-term, unhoused, into a situation where they're part of the working economy again. And if it means that we have to do multiple trainings and use leverage resources, we'll do that. We won't close the door for any individual that is referred to us. If we can't get them a job, there may be other services that we could provide to get them more job ready. I hope I answered, the majority of your
Through
concerns.
the chair,
I'm sorry. I'd like to ultimately just ask if you could maybe report out back to
course.
us in about 6 months, maybe a year,
Of course. If
on the successes and the needs.
we will have a monthly report,
Okay, great.
a monthly report with outcomes specific to enrollment into the paid work experience option, to the classroom training option. When they complete
Yep.
those programs, yeah, we'll definitely get you a monthly, quarterly, and obviously yearly report.
Thank you so much.
Councilmember Montero?
Hey, Robert, just a reference, right? If any of those individuals, if they have children that is 3 and 4 year old, right, they can access to the preschool that I manage, right? So, and we usually, it's a 10-month program that goes from August 20 until June 30th, and it's 3.5 hours in the morning, 3.5 hours afternoon, and it's free for all the parents. So if you have any individual there that needs that, and actually because of it's a state preschool, the homeless and the unhoused and the low incomes is priority for us to take in, okay?
We will definitely look into that resource.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, thank you for mentioning that, because that
Yeah,
fills
that
that
was the
specific need, actually. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is it right there, so. It's a collaborative, so you guys are experts in this, and you're right. I'm glad that you say, hey, you know what, this is what we can work on, and the city and its collaborative can focus on this others. It's just the way it's meant to be. But I just think that this is important in order to fill our palette of services that we have to offer, this being one of them, the Homeless Unhoused Task Force being the other one being the housing, temporary or housing opportunities transition into permanent housing, right? So I just think our relationship with La Cara, so thank you guys for putting this together and working with our city staff, so.
We need a pull-up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager and your staff, and
Thank you.
Yeah, right there. Thank you.
who else over there? So
Housing.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Enthusiasm second.
Please vote.
The voting reflects mayor and council members voting yes.
Thank you. And you know what, guys? If you really look at it, the city of Hawthorne has been on a cutting edge when it comes to helping out those who are unhoused and homeless. Okay, so seriously, people turn to us and look at us, for example. Now you hear about task forces in other cities and shelters. You know, we started the conversation. Torrance already has something similar, but it followed that after we started talking about it. I guess they just maybe beat us in enacting it, but the conversations have started here. So congratulations, kudos to my council member colleagues and to the staff and South Bay WIB and everybody else. Next, we have City Council's discussion action items. Councilmember Reyes English, please proceed with item 19, which is joining the South Bay City's Council of Governments in opposing SB 423 by Wiener, streamlined housing approvals, multifamily housing. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. As council members might know, all of us are assigned on committees, and we're required, in a sense, to attend some of these meetings and get up to date with regards to what's occurring in our state, with our state legislature, and more importantly, legislation that's coming through the pipelines in upcoming elections. I'll talk a little bit on both items that I have on the agenda today. However, there's a really huge push for more housing. I know this has been an issue not just in our city, but across our state. And there's a fine line that we're walking on. Multifamily housing developments are a big thing. It's going to be big today, and it's going to be big in the future because as it stands, there's just not enough housing. However, I think as council members and as our little city that we are in our growing ways, that we want to be in control of projects. We want to be in control of exactly how much is enough. And having said that, there is a bill in Sacramento, SB 423, that would, in a sense, provide an easier pathway for more housing, just similar to SB 9 and 10. And we had discussions on this about 9 and 10 also, and if I understand and if I remember correctly, there was letters that was sent to Sacramento. There was things that we're, a little concerned about. And so I just wanted to bring this to the council. I don't know if our city attorney, Robert, could speak a little bit more on what Senate Bill 423 would mean to us. However, it's somewhat similar to other bills that Senator Wiener has vigorously been fighting for. If you'd like to chime in, thank you, City Attorney.
Thank you. So basically, SB 423 is, as mentioned during the public communications, is by Senator Wiener.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
So basically, SB 423 was introduced by Senator Wiener as commented by during the oral communications. It extends what was SB 35, which is scheduled to sunset in year 2026, but it increases, if you will, the authority of the state to ministerially approve these housing projects. So they're minimizing some of the public hearings involved, that they're minimizing CEQA process that's required for regular type of housing, and it precludes some of the oversights that the local agencies are used to, and this is in line with a series of bills that's being introduced in Sacramento. So it's the League of California Cities is asking local cities to join them in issuing a letter opposing this Senate Bill 423, which is being introduced, and basically that's the essential part of it.
So thank you for that, Robert. In your binders, there is a draft letter that is considered language to send to Senator Wiener to express our concerns. You could take a look at that. I don't know if I don't believe the letter has been sent off yet.
No.
However, if you'd like to maybe add to that, make some changes, make some strikes, that's great. However, it's important that we speak up. And, we've heard from a lot of community members, and let me just first be the one to express that I'm for all housing, okay? When I talk about all housing, it could be work-live, it could be mixed use, it could be first-time home buyers, it could be rentals, because we also need to understand the economics of families. Not everybody could afford a house. And so you have, you know, the needs for better housing. Well, how do you get better housing? You get better housing by paying the highest rents and living in what you believe is a home that could accommodate your needs, but more importantly, satisfies your everyday living. But having said that, we can't just open up the floodgates, in a sense, to just anybody that feels that they could do any type of housing because of this type of legislation from Sacramento. We're not a big city. We're probably a 6-mile radius city. A little bit, maybe a little bit 6 point something, 6'3", 6'5". But having said that, we still have needs in our community, right? We don't have, in my opinion, again, sit-down restaurants. We don't have a shopping experience. We don't have the types of things that I'm having to leave the city of Hawthorne to go find, right? If I want to go to the movies, it's not here. If I want to go shopping, there's not a mall here. And by the way, I hate that mall across the street. I wish it was gone today. But these are the types of things that our community is telling me and is basically saying. So having said that, if there's any opinion expression, I'd like to hear it. Yeah.
And you know, I've been kind of passionate about of this subject. And look, you know, we could debate amongst council members, like, you know, specific use for a specific plot of land, you know, whether it's housing, commercial, et cetera. But that opportunity for us to debate and decide through compromise, through feedback from the community as to how a specific plot of land here in the city of Hawthorne is going to be used, and that being taken away from us is really bad. Especially when, like, you hit it. I'm glad you actually said it. We have to go to like Redondo or Torrance or somewhere else to go eat like a dinner for somebody's birthday, you know, because they have the sit-down restaurants over there. We do have a couple here, but not enough to give us a variety to be able to, you know, do what we have to do. And we ourselves, and the feedback of the community, we know which areas could be used for something more than just specific use. So whether it's housing, whether it's, you know, restaurants, we need to make that decision. I can't have some guy who moved into the state, probably a few, you know, I get mad because this guy seems to come in, move in, all of a sudden decides to run for Senate, lives in a highly dense San Francisco, and he thinks he's going to make policy for the rest of California. And that's awful. It's like some little wuss or something. I don't know. I wish I had him right here, and I'll tell him, you know, I'll tell him in his face, what the hell's wrong with this guy? He has nothing better to do, little pet projects. See how I could, you know, it's like, I hate to, a grammar school kid can come up with, can tell that this stuff is bad for the city. So I'm sorry, guys. I get really upset that this guy keeps coming up with this nonsense. But council member
to the chair.
Council member, Vice Mayor English, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
I appreciate you bringing this up.
But
And we can all identify that the decisions need to be made by us.
Right. The caveat to this includes if they're asking the cities, municipalities to include more housing, and then we need to ask the state to provide us the funding to do that, right? So there's a $3 billion annual investment in the state budget that we're asking lawmakers to include, and in that $3 billion annual investment budget would include roughly a $500,000, roughly. It would be like a reimbursement of sorts to us, the city of Hawthorne, that basically would be to reduce homelessness and to help us with our housing needs. Correct?
Yes, that's the next discussion action item.
Well, Councilor Montero, this specific item, let's just talk about this one.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about this one. See, the thing is, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because 2 weeks ago, I went to Cal State Dominguez. It was a forum talking about housing, talk about affordable housing, talking about the fact that California, we need 500,000 units. We're going to the state of California to be able to house everybody that's been unhoused, and also affordability, right? Because we know right now affordable housing is continuing to diminish. It's not, people not building affordable housing. And what the state is saying, even you see the Governor Newsom went down the state promoting housing and more housing and more housing, and even they're going to build tiny homes now, because the fact they're saying that some of the cities, they say, not in my neighborhood. They don't want to build no housing nowhere. Right now, they're going to the court with Huntington Beach. They're on court. All these cities trying to say, not in my neighborhoods. But then we had the mandate of those RHNA numbers that we have to build affordable housing. So let me give you an example. The city of Inglewood, for this past 5 years, have lost 5,000 residents because they cannot afford to live there anymore. We in Hawthorne, we're losing families going to the desert. The Centinela Valley School District is projecting to have 500 kids down on the enrollment. And you know, 500 kids for Centinela Valley, it's big because they only have 6,000 kids. So that is money that is going to be, that will not have enough money to give a very good education to those children. So that's what I'm saying. The state is looking in all these cities in California that are saying, not in my neighborhood, so they don't know what they're going to do, what they're going to put affordable housing. And that is why they're coming, all these laws, all these things, to force the cities to do something. And that is where we were trying to pass the charter city, because then we can say, okay, we will dictate what we want to do with our land and land use and how we're going to use it. So this winner guy, he's working there with a lot of other senators. Even our current senator is in favor of more affordable housing, because that's why they were right down in Cal State Dominguez. It was the county was there, the state was there, the cities was there, the contract cities, everybody was there. And they said, how are we going to solve this issue? And then if individual cities are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then the state is saying, okay, we need to do something about it, because we cannot let these people be on the street. And affordable housing, remember, right now, people are paying almost $3,000 for 2 bedrooms. And people cannot afford that, especially making minimum wage. So that is what you have homeless issue also, because a lot of people, look, a social worker, she was homeless on the street because she couldn't afford to pay the rent. She's a social worker by training. And in a social worker, you have to go to school 4 years in college plus a master's degree in social worker. That's what you need to think about, that if these laws are coming from the state, I know to impose in our own laws, but we have to have common sense. It's not just say no, 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 because then we're going to have more homeless, we're going to be more degentrification, we're going to see people moving away, and our schools are going to be suffer. Even our economy will suffer. So that is what you need to think about before you make any decision. Say, let's say no, and then that's it. No, but you have to have a strategy, because if you don't have a strategy, how are you going to address this issue? You're failing the people of Hawthorne, of South Bay, and the county, and the whole entire state of California. So my thing, believe it or not, I agree. We should do our own laws, not the city, because we supposed to be municipal. So that is where, think about again on that charter city. Because I would be in favor of it if there would be no salaries on it. So think about that.
a real quick response to that, and I appreciate you mentioning that. But we're elected officials here in the city of Hawthorne. The city of Hawthorne was considered one of the most highly dense cities in California at one point.
Seven in the nation. Number 7.
Top 7, exactly.
In the
Thank
nation.
you. You agreed.
I know all of
You
them.
actually fell into my little argument
Yes,
right here.
I know all
Thank
the
you.
statistics.
Thank
I'm
you.
giving you the Mayor, because I know that.
So the thing is, look, I understand was, we got to, there's a whole valley that we could build. There's Northern California that has so much room and space. Southern California is starting to get built out. All right, so we could debate that, but being one of the top 7 highest dense cities in the nation. Why is that? Because we're built out when it comes to residents. So you know what? This issue and whatever Mr. Wiener's trying to do, don't roll us into the whole mix when it comes to these laws. As if we're going to solve the housing part. We're already doing our part. Yes, focus on the Huntington Beach, the Torrances, the El Segundos, the all these little privileged cities that aren't doing their part. All those people that are combating. Focus on those, target, and if he wants to come up with some laws, make them take into consideration that we have the amount of rentals that we have in the city, how many people we have in the city, 15,000. That's why Mr. Raddick has an issue with parking on his street, right, Mr. Raddick? Because you keep putting, and oh, well, Hawthorne needs to do this. Density bonus is this.
We have 90,000 residents.
90,000 residents, exactly. We're 6 square miles, and that's
9.9.
about 15,000 per square. So we need to provide what? We need to provide all these other things here in the city of Hawthorne, all these other things, but don't roll us into it. We've already done our part. That's all I'm saying. I know what you're arguing, but you know what? You're a council member in the city of Hawthorne, not trying to solve the state's problems. I think
to the chair. So in item 19 that I'm bringing to the council, basically, as we're having a healthy discussion. I don't think anyone necessarily is saying no. I think what we're trying to say is that we'd like local control. We would like to be able to say how much. And this is something that I've been championing for years. And then again, we need to just keep in mind if there's certain things that are being asked of municipalities and cities with regards to more housing. I'll give you an example. Huntington Beach said no to more housing and sued the state of California and lost. So having said that, this is, again, it's a discussion. There's a letter in the agenda that you could review. It also speaks to item number 20, but I'd like to just wrap it up so I could move on to
Make a
20 and we
motion?
could go from that.
You want to make a motion? I concur on
I'd
drafting
like
the
to,
letter.
I'd like to just, to include a letter, but, I want him to also know, and the legislature to know, that we understand the housing needs.
Yeah.
But we want to be able to control how much. So if we could put that language in the letter somewhere softly, I would be, willing to sign it, and I hope my colleagues would too. And all I'm asking is for an I vote from everybody to support that.
I concur.
Okay, great.
We vote?
Good.
We good?
Yeah.
Are we good with just like this? Okay.
No?
Thank you, City Attorney.
We do need to vote, and
Okay.
I got your direction.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Please vote.
The voting reflects mayor and council members voting yes, with Katrina Manning voting no.
Okay.
Okay, great.
All right, let's move on to item 20. Item 20, please.
Thank you. Again, here we are with the state of California, pressing on municipalities and cities to provide, more housing and to reduce homelessness. It's similar to, Senate Bill 423, Senate Bill 9, 10, et cetera, and I'm sure some other 2,500 bills that are coming through the pipelines in Sacramento for a vote in next year's election in November. So there's going to be a lot of legislation coming through our desk, to our hands. I just hope that you guys will read certain legislation that's before us and not only educate ourselves, but the community, and basically, you know, how certain votes are not necessarily, you know, truthful votes when it comes to exactly what the legislation means to us, right? I'm talking about 2,500 bills that are coming through the pipelines that are going to affect us in one way or another. And then there might be some that actually could help us. But what I'm saying is there's so much legislation coming through the pipelines, it's up to us individually to read and understand what that means to us in our community and the people, the residents of Hawthorne.
Thank you.
So the League of California City is calling for a $3 billion annual funding stream in the state budget to assist cities with housing and funding needs that would include $1 billion owed to local agencies, and that's for reimbursements to our city. So in other words, these are projected cost, and there will be then ultimately a reimbursement to states. Do you remember a long time ago, Mayor? Long time ago. I don't want to. Yeah, it was a long time ago. When we had the accessor agencies,
Yes.
and we had, you know, Department of Finance directors come and go and tell us that, you know, the state owed us monies, and, you know, we never saw them. They, you know, we just needed to keep on them to make sure that we had some of these, you know, monies returned to us in reimbursements. This is somewhat similar. And so here we are today, joining in the League of Cities and asking for, you know, a state budget to include a $1 billion owed to the local agencies for reimbursements. So that's basically what that is. If you want to add to it, Robert, if there's anything more that I might have missed.
Sure. So we know that with arena numbers and the push by the states for local agencies to increase housing, I think our housing element includes about 1,700 additional units for the city of Hawthorne. These are all being mandated, but you know, if you look at the state budget right now, they depleted quite a bit of the excess surplus, and I think they may be even in deficit. So what the League of California Cities are asking local agencies to do is send a letter to the state legislatures asking that they allocate about $3 billion to assist the cities in the state of California for the housing requirements that they're mandating on the cities. And then additional $1 billion to be allocated to be just for the local agencies, because a lot of these state mandated programs, it requires reimbursements from the state, and they're really behind in paying this. And the city of Hawthorne's share of this is $582,915 as of I think it was year 2021, and the state they keep falling behind on this. So I know that our Department of Finance has filed a claim on this. I'm sure along with many other cities. So the League of Cities is asking that all the cities join in issuing a letter sending to the Sacramento, saying to allocate $3 billion to assist cities with the mandated housing programs, and an additional $1 billion to be allocated to refund the cities for the amount that's owed to the city for all the mandated programs that they've done over the years, which is accruing for many years.
Yeah, and again, you know, when we're mandated to do something, especially housing, I mean, that's a big push. That's a huge push. I work full-time for the city of Los Angeles. You know, there's 15 council offices full-time. It's the second largest city in the world, and over 10 million people every single day coming into the office with eviction notices. Every single day there are families living in converted garages, which is an illegal use. And every day there are people being pushed out, especially with regards to now that we're over with COVID and everyone's returning back to normal. Owners, property owners, those alike have the right to get reimbursed for those payments or those rents that were not paid. They have a right to look out for their own properties too. You know, they're living sometimes paycheck to paycheck because they didn't get paid for over 2 years on rents. Yeah. So all of this is important, all of it. It's just not a one-sided thing. It's a lot to take in, but we have to be, you know, proactive. We need to be able to let Sacramento know that, you know, if we're mandated with something, you need to provide us the help to be able to do that push. So again, here I have a letter that we're going to be submitting, and just want the support of the council in asking for those reimbursements, and we're going to continue to push. Can't say we're going to get reimbursed next year or tomorrow, but it's something that we just need to make sure that we're getting reimbursed for anything and everything that we're having to spend out of pocket for.
Do you have a motion?
Yeah, make a motion.
Second. Please vote.
Thank you.
The voting reflects the mayor and council voting yes.
Thank you very much for representing us at these meetings and bringing back this information.
You're welcome. I'll have the 2,500 bills at each of your desks, the next council.
Remember when Councilwoman Valentine was kind of doing that? We were like, what the heck? So now you see it kind of just...
No, that's a difference. We either had to say yes or no. There was no telling what we're doing.
Okay, well, okay.
Okay.
You're taking it to the next level. All right, fine. Jeez. Okay. All right. Next, we have elected officials' reports, recommendations, and we have do we have the closed session still? We have 3 items on the closed session coming up right after this. So we're going to take them all together?
Yes.
So we're going to be going on the back. So after the elected officials' reports. Ms. Treasurer?
Got it. Good evening, everyone. Let's see, I'd like to start out with, after reviewing the most recent investment policy, I found an error on page 6, section 3 with regard to the exceeding limits. I also confirmed this with our representative over at Multibank Securities. We both noted and agree that there needs to be an inclusion of the term brokered CDs inserted in on page 6, section 3 for clarification purposes. I am still reviewing the investment policy for, compliance and inaccuracies. However, it is my recommendation that we have the current policy reviewed by the GIOA and the CMTA for compliance and certification. I will fill out said applications and see if maybe the finance department can review and verify my numbers for accuracy. I'd just like to point out that the government closure of SVB has no impact on the city's finances, as I said last meeting. The Senate Banking Committee has legislation before Congress to increase FDIC limits from 250 to 2 million to prevent future occurrences from that banking collapse. I want to point out something. There's legislation before Biden to veto a joint resolution that impacts retirement savings. The DOL issued a new rule clarifying retirement plans can consider environmental, social, and government factors when making investment decisions. Costs associated with these factors can end up with a critical impact on investment savings. The Senate wants to block this. ESGs are factors in the analytical process that helps identify risk and growth opportunities. While this fact, or what I said, does not directly impact city funds, what it does is it's notable for city employees when it comes to their retirement and investing, and it also impacts our community with regard to their 401k and retirement savings. So I just wanted to point that out as a note of reference for you all. But I'd like to say thank you to the Finance Department for aiding me as I review the investments and the cash management policies. Thank you, Felice, for your continued hard work in everything that you do. I did want to point out in reviewing some of that information that I'm always given, that our money market has, $24 million sitting, earning like a 2.3 interest rate. I am going to work with Felice on a better way, hopefully, to maximize those funds as I Notice that we also don't invest in treasury bonds. They're not in our portfolio. And right now, 5-year rates are currently around 5%. Bonds, government bonds are generally safer because why? They're government backed. However, its risk is inflation and interest rate fluctuation, but right now 5-year rates, as I said, are at a 5% rate. So I'd like to keep an eye out on this moving forward, and hopefully after some consulting with our investment firm and the finance manager, we can find a better way to maximize that. Let's see. Also, when I reviewed the positions held with multi-bank securities, I noticed there was a corporate CD purchased in 2020 for $500K for a Bank of America. Moving forward, and in light of the more recent banking collapse, I would advise against said purchasing of these types of CDs. Not that it could happen because B of A is pretty big, but if B of A folded in the next 2 years, that money would all be at risk, and we would be at risk of losing that $500,000 that we have sitting in that particular corporate CD that we purchased of B of A. Just noting that that type of investment is a little risky, and our representative over at Multi-Bank Securities also agreed with that. More fun stuff. On Saturday, Councilwoman Manning and City Clerk Dana William Hunter and myself were invited to the College of the Canyons for a 2023 Women's Conference. The conference title and highlight was Think Big and Speak Up. The focus was women's empowerment, and you know, I was very thankful for the invitation to speak before, you know, the ladies at the conference. Last night I supported Cabrillo Elementary over in Hawthorne. They had a Blaze Pizza night. Ramona has a fundraiser at Islands on the 29th, and Anza on the 30th is having a family art night. So just wanted to note that and hope that anybody and everybody can come out and support. I always love school support. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for that detailed report.
Ready?
That was detailed. So that's good. I hope everybody who has any questions about our finances, a lot of questions have been answered, okay? Thank you. Ms. City Clerk?
Thank you. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I also want to thank my mom, who's at home watching, with my aunt who flew in from Michigan. So hi, Auntie Sonia. I want to let you all know that our paper reduction, not only here, but we want to reduce paper in the clerk's office as well. So we are looking still to digitize. We're working to minimize papers, which takes a long time because we do have a schedule that we have to follow with respect to destruction of papers. We are working with our interns to help us with that. And speaking of which, I will be matching up interns with some of the council members who reached out and said that they may need help with projects. And that will be done this week. So you all will have an email with myself and one intern on that email that you will then let us know exactly what the need is, and then we can accommodate you. Wanted to also let you all know that finally I received my notary commission, and I go Thursday morning to raise my hand and get sworn in to become official. And after that, we've decided to make that a line item at some point in the very near future so that people are able to, residents of Hawthorne are able to come in and to have notarized documents taken care of here. Also wanted to talk with you a little bit about my clerk training. That was a few weeks ago, which I wasn't here at the last meeting. We learned a lot of things: government overviews, management skills, influencing others, communication skills, ethics and personal values, as well as the clerk's role in emergency management. Like I said before, a lot of the clerks, most of the clerks there have gone digital. So when we had conversations about things like agendas and whatnot, they were all using tablets or their laptops. Also wanted to just kind of give you a little bit of some of the things that some of the clerks said there. They wanted me to encourage council members to read the agendas ahead of time because those are things that help to save time. I know a lot of people are busy. You guys are working full-time jobs. But when you receive the link, which is usually the week before the council meeting, it would be ideal if you open it up and take a look. If there are any mistakes or things like that, you guys can call us and let us know right away because, you know, we will want to fix those things. And also wanted to touch on the Saturday conference, the leadership panel. It was a Hawthorne leadership panel with myself and Madam Treasurer and Councilwoman Manning. And we all had some time to talk about our experiences running and, of course, think big and speak up. That was the theme. And they were really excited and grateful that we came out to have that leadership panel. I've asked them for a copy of the day so that if we get a chance to, I'll let everybody see it, whoever wants to see it. And that is all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilwoman Manning?
Thank you. Congratulations, Dana, on your notary. That's an awesome thing. I may have to use you for my job outside of here. So I had an opportunity to visit SpaceX. It was great. I've lived here for 30 years, and this was my first time going there. And so one of the things that SpaceX mentioned is that they would love to give tours to our high school kids that are focused on STEM. And so I said I would reach out to the superintendent and try to make that happen. But they definitely are interested in anyone that is interested in STEM in high school and middle school. They would love to have you come out there. So if teachers are you watching, give me a call. Also, I had an opportunity to attend Community Cleanup Day. What a fun day. Like to say thank you to the staff for putting that together. I think Councilwoman Reyes got sick from being out there that day, but we were out there and I had a great time. It was fun being there with city staff. So I appreciate that. Also, we had a glorious time, and I think next council meeting I can bring the video, but Women's History Month. We had our first annual Women's History Month, and it was well attended. We had a great time. Our keynote speaker is the franchise owner of 21 McDonald's, and you know, the one thing that I can tell you that I took away from that is self-care, how important self-care is. And she quoted, her quote said, "How can you pour into others if your cup is empty from not pouring into yourself?" So it's so important to pour into yourself. And also, Senator Steve Bradford gave us certificates, myself and the keynote speaker and Councilwoman English. So we appreciate Assemblywoman Tina McKenna sending her people, Supervisor Holly Mitchell, and also Senator Bradford for supporting that event. Thank you so much. I also want to talk about being in attendance with my colleagues. We had a great time being at the College of the Canyons and speaking to that community. They had so much energy there, and we were so well received from Hawthorne. So we put a mark in that city, and they really enjoyed us really pouring into them. So that opportunity was a great opportunity, so I appreciate that. Moving for Mother's Day, we're going to, Councilwoman in English and I are going to be hosting our first annual Mother's Day, May 6th at 11 a.m. at the Memorial Center. Please bring your mom. We're going to have food. We're going to have live entertainment. It's going to be a beautiful occasion. So please make sure residents come on out, bring your mother, come and celebrate with us. on May the 6th, 2023 at 11 a.m. at the Memorial Center. We will be doing a PSA. We're going to do, notification. We're going to do as much as we can to make sure that you're aware that it's coming so you don't forget, so that you can spend your Mother's Day celebrating with us. Woo! So also, if you want to make a donation, please make a donation to the City of Hawthorne. Donations are greatly accepted for our Mother's Day. Also, I wanted to just say my heart really goes out to Wayne Spencer's family. I just saw him at the teens event like a month ago, and just to hear that he passed away is heartbreaking. So my condolences to the family. And then also a dear good friend of mine, trustee board member of El Camino, also Mayor Vargas's brother's colleague, Kenneth Brown, passed away. And I just wanted to send my condolences to Kenneth Brown. And if we could, Mayor, close in his name and Wayne Spencer, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilmember Montero, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to the public for coming tonight. Thank you for those that are listening to us at home. As you see, we got good things going on. Our budget look good. Our homeless program is thriving. So, and all our departments thriving. And talk about our department on this Saturday, April 1st, the Parks and Recs, the Community Service, the Public Works, and the City Manager Office, they're going to have the Earth Day, Bonnie Extravaganza, and the Providers Fair. And on that day, you're going to have a lot of stuff going on over there. We have the shredder, paper shredding. We have the e-waste and also compass giveaway. You can collect your dirt from those wastes and food. So April 1st, from 10 to 2, we're going to have some door prizes and egg hunts. The Lions Mobile Clinic will be there doing vision screening and hearing screening for free, so just go there, please. And also, there is an ice cream truck coming from the Connected Credit Union, so be there. I have to say that this Saturday, there was 2 great events. The Women's Empowerment that was hosted by our colleague, Councilwoman Manny and Councilwoman English. So it was a very good event, thank you. But I think that Saturday morning from 9 to 1, there was a homeownership fair at the South Bay Celebration Assembly of Church at 130th and Corderi. Believe it or not, it was about 540 people registered for that event. So they talk about first-time home buyer program, right? Because I was honorary member chair in conjunction with my colleague David Perez and also Miss English. But the agency called FACE, F-A-C-E, okay? So it's faith, empowerment, and community empowerment. So they brought that workshop to Hawthorne for the first time. And believe it or not, one of the gentlemen that I spoke with came all the way from San Diego to attend that workshop because they talk about how you can become a first-time home buyer and you can access to $140,000 down payment plus with another $30,000 from First Citizens Bank for closing costs and insurance, blah, blah, So that event was very well attended. They had maybe about dozens of banks. That is not the traditional bank, but Bank of America was there. But the other bank, like Bank of Hope, the First Citizens Bank, that is a family-owned bank that was going to give money. The state was there talking about their own first-time home program that is going to be launched on the state level. The county was there talking about first-time home buyer, how to become homeowners, right? Because remember, Hawthorne, we only have 27% home ownership. Only 27% of people owns home in Hawthorne. So 73 are renters. So we are promoting home ownership. So that was a great event. Supervisor Holly Mitchell was supposed to be there, but she couldn't make it. But she said 2 representatives. Tina McKinney representative was there. Everybody was there. The Counseling General of Senegal. That was a funny thing because, I met her during the press conference when we did launch the program, and because Senegal is about 45 minutes on the plane from my country, Cape Verde Island. So we kind of bond, right? So it was funny to see Senegal being part of the whole program of giving African American first-time home buyers a chance to own a home. So if you want to know more about this organization, go on FACE, it's FACELA.org. FACELA.org. And they have a lot of different programs. They have programs that they can give up to $80,000 to the homeowner that is behind in their mortgage. Okay, so it's not just first-time home buyer, but they have money to give away. So, and to become a first-time home buyer, you have to go to those 3 weeks workshop with them, and they will guide you step by step how to get those money so you can be able to buy a home with at least maybe 3% down. Like one of them is 0%. You don't have to put no money out of your pockets. Some of them 1% out of your pocket. So please go to that FACE, FACELA.org. So they have a lot of resources out there. So that was a great event. And we hope to do it, soon, next year sometime. I did attend also the South Bay COG, the annual assembly. They talk about water, like, even about with all this rain that we have, but we still have to conserve water. Even the state is going to drop the restriction on water, but still, we got a lot of runoff over, went to the Pacific Ocean. So, but at least the reliable and safe drinking water, it was a topic of that, and also energy, right? Renewable energy, about microgrids, because during the summer we have the flex alert, right? The power outage. So they're talking about microgrids that can be built by the solar panels and the solar energy. That is, we can create these small microgrids by blocks. So instead of having those power outage in the summer. So it's a good event. Just to let you know that the Hawthorne President's Council, we are accepting a nomination of your volunteers of the year. So because remember, we haven't done this since 2019 because of COVID. So this year we're going to do one on April 23rd at 2 p.m. at the Memorial Center. It's a Sunday, 2 p.m. But you have to submit those names to me by Tuesday, okay? Have to submit those names to me by Tuesday because we have to create the booklet for the program. It has to go to printing, and we have to put their names in the printing. And also what's coming up in May is the K-9 dinner. We always raise money for the police department for the K-9 unit. And like I say, last year we raised $14,000 for the K-9. So we need to keep going and make sure we raise that money. Again, I wanna congratulate all the Vietnam War veterans, those who came back home alive, and those who, disappear, right? And who knows, if we still have a POW that never came back home. So my hat goes off to them and the families that still have, sad memories of what happened in Vietnam. So again, thank you very much for coming tonight, and God bless all. And like you said again, Kenneth, Brown from El Camino. It was funny because my nephew and his son went to school together. So when I sent a text to my sister, and they almost fall out of their chairs because they couldn't believe it, because apparently he died at LAX going to a conference. So we,
My
so-
daughter goes to school with his son.
Yeah, so it was sad news. And then Wayne Spencer, that that man had so much life, funny, always called me a man, the Jamaican accent. So it was sad to know that he passed away. So thank you and good night.
Councilmember Patterson?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I want to first thank the community for coming out and participating in the process and staying abreast of what's happening in your community. Especially want to congratulate those that stayed to the end. Right, we got Ronnie, we got the Haggertys, we got Balboas, we got Bill Meyer, we got the Orlemans. I see we got Gordon Michael Migo, who didn't speak today, but I see that.
That was a miracle.
Jim Raddick, right? We have a lot of familiar faces. Great to see you guys, and thanks for making it all the way through, and thanks for the support, and thanks for giving your opinion, whether it's supportive or whether it's friendly, comments or not. Appreciate you being involved. And I want to thank staff for all of your hard work and dedication. I was made a comment that I work for a municipality and I don't go to any of the extra events that the municipality has, but I see our staff at all of our events, and I don't know if you guys are getting overtime for that or not, but and it looks like not. And so that's so impressive, the commitment that you guys have to the community, and the community appreciates that, and it's noticeable that you guys show up. I think that's one of the things that makes our city unique is the sense of family within our staff and within our police department as well. So just happy to have you guys part of the city, and thank you for your contribution. I want to congratulate our new chief for getting his new contract. And for a lot of reasons, but one, because I've had an opportunity to speak with Chief Tomatani, and I like smart people. I like people who care about their people, and I like people with vision, and he has all of those things, and I definitely appreciate the conversations that we have. He cares about our community a lot. He cares about his officers a lot, and he cares about our community a lot. And, it's what we need. And so definitely appreciate you. I want to thank our city clerk for introducing technology to the council. I've been enjoying this as we, during this current meeting. And so, you realize how much something adds to your life once you have it, right? So, thanks for helping introduce this contribution. Of course, want to, again, recognize our veterans and our first responders, and, those that served in Vietnam and made it back. You guys have made a contribution I've not made that I can't completely relate to, but it's something that I appreciate, and I want to thank you guys for being involved in our community, and continue to educate me on ways in which we can make sure you all are included in our community and recognized for your contribution. I did attend the Black Homeownership Fair hosted by FACE over the weekend, and it was quite an impressive event. From an event planning standpoint, they were really on their job, right? And definitely took a lot of notes, because I know we all organized events in the city of Hawthorne, and they really definitely were on their job and made sure they brought a lot of value to the community and made sure the community showed up. One of the things that Councilmember Montero mentioned is a program that just was released on Monday by CalHFA, CALHFA, and it's a program that will give you a silent second up to 20% of your purchase price of a home for a first-time home buyer. And there's no cap on the price of the home. So you can buy a $500,000 home or a $2 million home. They'll contribute up to 20% to make that purchase. And it'll be like a silent second, so there's no payments on it. Once you sell that home, you'll pay that down payment back. And they also do a little bit of appreciation share with that particular program. I believe you need to have a minimum credit score of about 660, but it's a great program. It's statewide. So, pass the word on, and let's hope some people take advantage of that program to move here into our community. and want to appreciate the community for participating in the Community Cleanup Day the other week. It's been great to see how that program has grown. I know we had kind of did it a little bit during the pandemic because there was a lot of feedback from the community about kind of the status of our streets, and I'm glad to see that we've continued that on, and I know I appreciate it, and I know all of our neighbors appreciate that contribution. So thanks a lot.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me first start off by, again, congratulating our new chief. Kudos to you, sir. I look forward to working along with you. And more importantly, our police officers and community. So thank you so much. I also would like to commend Councilmember Patterson for bringing the veterans, Vietnam veteran, and honoring them. Thank you for that. And to all of our veterans that were here today, thank you for your service and congratulations to you. It's our efforts each and every time that we hear about our veterans' needs to be recognized, to do something about that and to assist where we can. And so thank you, Kyle, for bringing that to our attention also, and at a national level. So that's just great, knowing that there's a resolution in recognition at a national level. I look forward to the Crenshaw Transportation Corridor, the project that's going to be coming, and the funding that was given to us by Congresswoman Waters. We got an update on that and look forward to that. That's a long stretch of Crenshaw, and it's my hope that we could look at Crenshaw as a city and see how we could develop it to, be a good fit for the corridor, for that project development. Let's see. There was a question posed by one of the speakers that asked if we were prepared, expected numbers of travelers to Hawthorne from Inglewood, if we thought we were prepared transportation-wise, right? I think we could do more. I think that's always something that we've had discussions about here on the council for years on other ways of getting from, here to there. And so I just wanted to make sure that that speaker knows that we're not totally satisfied and we're going to do more. And that's our push here in Hawthorne as we grow out. I want to thank our parks person, county parks, that came out today, talked about parks. We love parks. We have 10 parks here in the city of Hawthorne. We've had a couple of grand openings at our parks. More recently, Jim Thorpe Park, a park that is close to my heart. And that was Councilman Patterson and myself had fun at that park. We played on the playground, and look forward to additional parks being developed and redone. But thank you to our Public Works Department for their efforts and what they're doing to help us with our parks. Let's see. Talked about our bills today, so thank you, council members, for joining on that. I'd like to welcome our visitor from Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you for coming, sir, to the City Council. I heard Nashville, Tennessee. Both. Oh, okay, by way of Michigan. Okay, Michigan, okay. Okay. And you're staying in Long Beach. I think I remember that.
Uh-huh.
Ronnie, I hope you feel better. I know you're struggling over there, but welcome back. I hope you do better. And if there's something we could help you with, please let us know, okay? Let me see. I attended the cleaning, our Hawthorne community cleanup on the 18th, and the monster got me. The germ monster got me. And so I've been down for the last week. But I'm back, and I missed out on a couple of events and actually had speaking engagements at both of these events. And I just want to thank our council colleagues that stepped up and helped in my absence, but know that that was appreciated, and look forward to partnering in other events. As Mother's Day coming up, Mother's Day and our Mother's, the health fair event. And also look forward to our service provider fair coming up on April 1. And I have a surprise for you, but I'm not going to tell you. I'll show you what I've been working on that we're going to be doing on that day. Okay?
All right.
Congratulations, City Clerk, on efforts here that we all see before us, and for your clerking, your clerk training, and also your notary. So already, not even 100 days, and you've already pushed through all of that. This was something that we talked about, if you remember, Mayor, many years ago, and we weren't quite there yet because of just, a number of reasons. More importantly, the technology. It took us some time just to get onto Granicus, and so that was a challenge, but I'm glad that we're going deeper into the tech world, and I look forward to learning more how we could do things quickly using the iPad. So appreciate that. Thank you. I want to just make some recommendations to our city manager and city attorney and city clerk. So with the commission positions and posting of opening position spots, if the city clerk's office could project out or tell us, basically reporting out to the council on any pending applications, what openings are available, and which ones need to maybe be considered and brought to the council for approvals. And I think that's important, and that's important for the mayor, so that we all know, and that those posts are filled, and those posts that are not filled, and we're looking for applicants, that we put that out in the universe to our residents in Hawthorne. There is an opportunity to serve. Let's see, what else? Look forward to the upcoming events coming up. Thank you to our code enforcement for reporting out and giving us monthly, if not, seems like bi-weekly, reports on what's happening in our city, whether it's good or bad, anything having to do with illegal activity to corrections. So thank you for that. Thank you to everyone that participated in our community cleanup with the e-waste, with the paper shredding. I had an opportunity to shred a lot of my paperwork, and so I just hope that a lot of you took advantage of that. Look forward to doing this again. And it was a big plus, especially the bulky items. There was a lot of refrigerators, there were a lot of beds, furniture, bulky items where people were just driving them in and dumping them into the big dumpsters that were there. So that was a great effort. I just want to thank all of our department heads that are here, and everyone that came out to hear what's happening in the great city of Hawthorne, and look forward to more, including, again, introducing legislation that is important to the city and the residents of Hawthorne. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Everybody good? Okay, so look, I want to, today it was a great example of how each of my councilmember colleagues, ourselves, we've been leading the charge on different things. Ladies, you represented us up in the northern part of LA County. You guys are you represented us very well, speaking on our behalf and telling them what great things we have here in the city of Hawthorne, and your path towards where you are. So thank you for representing us. The Women's Day event that both my colleagues here shared, Councilwoman Manning and Mayor Pro Tem, was a success. Beginning of an annual cyclical event that we're going to be having. So, I mean, the reports that our city treasurer gave was in depth,
that
solid.
was good. Thank you, Marie.
And our city clerk is always on top of stuff and leading the charge on the technology aspect with these. I mean, the food giveaways. My council member colleague David Patterson is honoring our veterans here from the Vietnam era and all veterans. So thank you for taking the charge on that and all the things you are working on. Councilmember Montero with his annual I think he leads 2 of these fundraisers, community dinner fundraisers and the volunteer thing, and Mayor Pro Tem taking charge and leading us when it comes to looking out for legislation that'll either help us or hurt us. And I'm glad that you're in that middle and we trust you in that position. So thank you. This is really good and important from all of you guys. So, and I have my events coming up too, so don't worry. I got my stuff lined up too. Mr. City Manager, I think we talked briefly, and I think you said the week of July 10th to the 14th, you might be doing something here in the City Hall chambers?
Yeah, our plans is to give the chamber a refresh, and we're looking to complete that the first 2 weeks of July.
First 2 weeks, okay.
Yes.
So that would call for maybe adjusting the meeting date or having a special
July
meeting
11th
somewhere in there?
meeting, yes.
Okay, so can you let us know as soon as possible so that we could put that in our calendars and that the community knows? And that Ronnie and Mr. Migo and the Haggertys aren't just waiting out there, what's the heck's going on? I'm gonna complain at the next meeting. They didn't tell us anything. I know you guys. No, give the community a fair warning as to when we're gonna have the meeting. Okay, awesome. So I guess didn't really irk me. Are we prepared? A lot of rhetorical questions that were being asked by one of the speakers today. Are you prepared? Do you think you have this? Well, I mean, we're doing the best we can with what we have. If you have a different perspective, we'd like to get some ideas as opposed to just having just asking the rhetorical questions. If you have certain things in mind, okay. Hey, it's more than just the bike lanes here. It's more than that. There's other things that. There's people that are still driving cars, you know, there's people that are still walking. So I think that gentleman has addressed some of those things. So we'd just like to invite people to give us more suggestions as to what they see, okay? I know you guys elect us and we have a certain vision for the city based on what your feedback is, but if you have specific ideas, you know, hey, wow, you know. Some of the greatest ideas I think we've had as council members, I think even Councilwoman Manning mentioned it today, you did too, is that an idea that sprouted some course of action based on something that somebody out in the community mentioned to you. So you mentioned it, and I know you mentioned it, and I think we've all had our experiences. So I think it's good. I have a couple of events that I'll be attending this week. I'd like to report on a couple of State of the Cities locally, Gardena and Carson. So I'm gonna be out there. Where is it? Okay. So yeah, we just, hey, we know what we just want to go see so that we could see, hey man, we're doing good. You know, if we comparatively we're doing good, guys. Hey, you know what? I hope they're not hearing this, but you know, after I go to some of these, you know, I come back, yeah, we're okay, man. We're pretty darn good. We are. Other cities are struggling, but you know, remember, people are gonna highlight all the great things that are happening. One thing that I also like to let you know is that we're a regional community too. We want to see our neighbors succeed as well. So it's up to us to be able to build those networks and see them succeed, because the bad effects end up trickling into our city if they're not successful. And Mayor Pro Tem is seeing that firsthand as a representative of the South Bay COG.
I'm the South Bay COG.
Okay, but you're League of California Cities, but you're the one that brought that, and SCAG. And I'm sorry, Councilor Montero, you're with the South Bay COG.
No worry, I'm going to bring you some of the bills, don't worry.
All right.
They're there.
A lot of things we have to work, keep an eye out to protect our city. And you know what? We've been having healthy debates. Things are going well this year. We just need to keep it up. Just keep on that path of cooperative effort. All right, so guys.
Mr. Mayor, can I just go back, because I didn't, in my comments, I didn't congratulate the chief.
The chief?
Right, because I know him for 25 years.
Should do a group congratulations.
He has come up in the ranks, because I knew him when I used to be a resource office. So now look, chief, see that? We promote from within, and that shows the leadership, how they pass the baton. So thank you very much.
So I'd like to my council members join me in congratulating the chief once more.
Yeah, we got the chief.
And my treasurer and our city clerk. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. So, okay, guys, look, we're going to go in the back, but before we do that, you know, there's not going to be people out here. We might be out there. Should it be short? It should be short in the back, right? All right. But since we don't know, that's uncertain, I like the residents that are here and those watching TV. I would like to have the moment of silence for both Mr. Wayne Spencer and Mr. Ken Brown now, so that we can all participate, and since we've discussed it. Wayne Spencer was a longtime South Bay WIB board member. He had his local business and just a booster for communities. He was always here in the city of Hawthorne when the South Bay WIB was based here in the city of Hawthorne. It had a certain relationship with the city of Hawthorne. We were considered the host city. And he was a longtime advocate for getting people back to work. Just a genuine great guy, man, solid guy, man. Just, I mean, it hurts me to hear that, you know, at that event, seeing him, how lively he was, enjoying himself, how lively he was, how he just made you feel like, you know, like awesome just being in his presence. It's just really just, I mean, it kind of bugs me. It's not, you know, that this has happened, but God has his purposes for everybody, right? Mr. Ken Brown was the president of the Board of Trustees for El Camino College. He was a fellow physicist. I studied physics for my master's and my bachelor's and done physics work at Raytheon. He worked at Northrop, so he was a solid physicist. I guess we shared a couple of things. You know, he was teaching. He was an adjunct professor at Cal State Dominguez Hills, and you know, I work at El Camino. So I mean, look, that hits me hard because it's like I see myself like a parallel there. And but most importantly, he's a really good guy, man. You know, he was very close to my brother because they were both elected at the same time to the El Camino College Board. The super tall guy. So I have one in my office. You'll see it right now. And so it just struck us out of left field to hear this, you know, that, you know, he's gone. And I talked to board member Nilo Michelin recently too, like right after that, and they're just devastated. They were gonna have like some protest rally, you know, the teachers, like some of the union stuff. They just put it aside and say, you know, we just gotta honor Mr. Brown. So look, both of those losses really hurt me, and I know for all the members out there in the community that knew them, it just affects us. So if we can have a nice, substantial moment of silence in their honor, please bow your heads and keep them in prayer right now. May they both rest in peace. Just keep them in your prayers. Keep their families in your prayers. They're with God. You know, their families are the ones that need to have some, you know, help, heavenly help, just to get, you know, getting through this, right? We have a closed session. Madam Clerk, there's 3 items. Can you read them? 21, 22, and 23, please.
Item 21, conference with real property negotiator pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.8, approximately .41 acres of land and existing motel located at 4501 West Imperial Highway, APN 4037-022-054. Agency negotiator, Vontre Norris, city manager, and Christopher Beck, city's real estate consultant. Other party, AJ Patel. Under negotiation, price and terms of payment. Item 22, conference with real property negotiator pursuant to California Government Code Section 549.8, property approximately 5,000 square feet, land located at 13100 Yukon Avenue, APN 4035-001-001. Agency negotiator, Vontre Norris, city manager, and Christopher Beck, city's real estate consultant. Other party, 13007 Yukon Avenue, Hawthorne, LLC, and 13100 Yukon Avenue, Hawthorne, LLC. Under negotiation, price and terms of payment. Item 23, conference with real property negotiator pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.8, properties approximately .91 acres of land with 2,046 square feet, building located at 13007 Yukon Avenue, APN 4050-014-002, approximately 2.16 acres of land located at 12500 Eucalyptus Avenue, APN
4041-009-900. Agency negotiator, Vontre Norris, city manager, and Christopher Beck, city's real estate consultant. Other party, 13007 Yukon Avenue, Hawthorne LLC, and 13100 Yukon Avenue, Hawthorne LLC, under negotiation, price and terms of payment.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on these items? If there's no one, I'll declare oral communications close ordered. A little small. We will now recess the city council meeting to conduct a closed session for a conference pursuant to the agenda at 8:38 p.m. We are in recess.
The City of Hawthorne has revised the Hawthorne Municipal Code 12.04.031 pertaining to sidewalk repair and maintenance. The revised code places new duties and obligations on the property owners adjacent to sidewalks in conformance with the California Streets and Highways Code. The revised municipal code section can be found online at the website shown on the screen. A copy of section 12.04.031 is also available from the city clerk's office. Property owners are encouraged to consult their own legal counsel or insurance companies if they have questions about the legal impact of the new code section. Hawthorne has revised the Hawthorne Municipal Code 12.04.031 pertaining to sidewalk repair and maintenance. The revised code places new duties and obligations on the property owners adjacent to sidewalks in conformance with the California Streets and Highways Code. The revised municipal code section can be found online at the website shown on the screen. A copy of section 12.04.031 is also available from the city clerk's office. Property owners are encouraged to consult their own legal counsel or insurance companies if they have questions about the legal impact of the new code section. The City of Hawthorne has revised the Hawthorne Municipal Code 12.04.031 pertaining to sidewalk repair and maintenance. The revised code places new duties and obligations on the property owners adjacent to sidewalks in conformance with the California Streets and Highways Code. The revised municipal code section can be found online at the website shown on the screen. A copy of section 12.04.031 is also available from the city clerk's office. Property owners are encouraged to consult their own legal counsel or insurance companies if they have questions about the legal impact of the new code section.
Welcome back.
The city council has met in closed session. We're back in session right now at 9:34. The city council has met in closed session. Mr. City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On three items, item 21, 22, and 23, the city negotiator has been instructed.
Okay, if there's no further items from council or staff, this meeting is adjourned at 9:34.